Alright, so this whole idea comes from this one shot that I want to get. And we're probably going to use it for like a spec ad later, so I want to test it out. But I also felt like I had to come up with kind of a story around it to actually use the shot for something instead of just shooting it. So the whole purpose of this video is to get that one shot. But before we get to that, I'm going to get some other shots to tie together a story. So just put together the storyboard that I'm going to put on screen now. And today I'm going to be using my girlfriend Joya's A6400 to shoot this because why not? And the second reason is because it's small enough to do a few of those shots that we need. So let's get started. All right, so we've got the first setup here, which is the camera down here, pointing towards the couch. And I'm just using this light to actually get a bit more light in here because otherwise it was way too dark. The whole point for the first shot here is that I'm sitting and writing an email and then I'm figuring out that I'm hungry and then I'm gonna go look for snacks. And if you know that feeling of going to look for a snack and figuring out that you don't have anything and then 10 minutes later you go do the same, it's kind of the intention with this short video, that it's gonna loop and it's gonna get that, hopefully get that feeling. So we're gonna get the first shot and then I'm gonna get one from me walking out of the room and into the room again, and then we can shoot the other shots as well. So that's the plan. Alright, so I got some shots looking into the fridge. That's one of the reasons why we needed this smaller camera. And now the second one is that we are going to use these granola bite snacks to be kind of the last solution for snacks. And we're going to find it empty, and then I'm going to go back in the scene to sit on my computer and write an email, and then it's going to loop. But the whole reason why I wanted to use the A6400 in this one is because the lens is small enough and wide enough that I hope that by cutting out the bottom of this one, this back, I can get a cool shot of like looking through the back. I've always wanted to try that, and today is the day. So I'm going to figure out a composition of where to find the bag and then open it, and then I'm going to cut a hole in the bottom and see if it can work. I think it's going to be a fun shot, so I'm excited to do it. Okay, so here comes the fun part. Now I'm gonna cut a hole in the bottom of this and hopefully I can fit it over the lens here and I can get the shot that I want to get. So let's try it. This is the last shot. This is the actual shot I wanted. So I'm pretty curious to see if it can actually work. So it fits around. Let's turn it back on and see if the shot actually works. And I'm gonna use the monitor here to see that actually being able to get the shot that I want. Right, it works. Then we can get the shot, and it actually looks pretty cool, so I'm super excited about this.
Need some help? That's pretty cool.
So the shot worked really well actually, so I'm super excited to take it into DaVinci Resolve now. And I'm going to show you the grade that we're going to put on this particular shot as well for this video, and I'm going to show you the entire reel or video short on screen now as well. so the main things that we needed for this shot to work out was a camera with a lens that could actually, where I could fit the back over. I had to switch it to manual focus and then focus it from kind of like with the back on top, so I could close it and open it again without the focus shifting. Then we had to have enough light. I shot it outside in the middle of the day, but still under like a roof, so we were in the shade, but there was enough light that it was fine. The lens was f4, so we had plenty of focus to play around with, and I think that worked out pretty well in that sense. Then we were just playing around, having a bag, opening it, and just doing a couple of different shots. I think I did it twice, and then I was happy with the result in that way. So that was kind of the shot out of the way. Before we jump into the grade, I just want to mention two things. If you like the music in both the short video that I ended up creating and the background music that's been playing in this video, that's all from Track Club. This is not sponsored. I am an affiliate. So if you check out the link below, you can get 2 months for free, I believe it is. And you might notice some of the sound effects that I've been using in this reel, especially if you watched it multiple times, watched it maybe on Shorts or on Instagram as well. And I recently switched to using Soundly. And this is not an affiliate link, but I do have a link below and a code, my name, Alex Bjørstorp, that you can use and get 3 months for free. They were so kind to let me do that, and no credit card needed, no strings attached, nothing. You can just test it out 3 months if you want to. Super happy with the product. They have some incredible features. I'm gonna make a video or more videos on it soon, but I just wanted to mention that now as well. One warning is that you might get hooked on using it and kind of addicted to these sounds. So 3 months might not be enough in the long run, but you can test it out for yourself, no strings attached. So huge thanks to the Soundly team for actually making that happen. And now let's jump into DaVinci Resolve and have a look at what I did with the grading for this particular shot. All right, so inside DaVinci Resolve here, you can see that this is the final shot that we ended up with. And this is without any grading or anything. So if we head into our tree here, this is what I have. So you can see it's this exact same note tree. And the whole idea here was to get that kind of faded cinematic look that I gave on the overall video in itself, but also having more teal and kind of these blue cool tones inside of the bag itself. So if we switch over to the original shot here, the only thing I've done in this note tree so far is to take it from S-Gamut Free Cine and S-Log Free into DaVinci Wide Gamut, and then at the end here we're taking it from DaVinci Wide Gamut into Direction 9 and Gamut 2.4. So that's the only thing I've done so far. Now to achieve this look that I had, I went in and used the cinematic LUT that I have here, the Cinematic Classic, which brings it down quite a lot. So we need to play around with the exposure, and with that you could either use the gamma or the gain on the left, but I just chose to use the tone curve here just to bring it up to a place where I feel like I'm happy with the skin tones. It's fine that it's still a bit dark, but overall I'm pretty happy with this lifted and doesn't get too much noise, so I'm happy with the level here. And then I just wanted to check the balance real quick as well, because it tended to be just a slight bit too green, and then I think it was too red as well. So I'm just going to bring down the red and then actually maybe just bring back the green again. So now we already have it a little bit more cool from the beginning. The LUT also helps with that, but that was kind of the idea behind it first. And then with the curves, usually what I do is just to narrow in the skin tones a little bit. So I like to make 2 notes or 2 points here between the yellow and the red, but towards the skin tones here that's closer to the reds. And then just bring down the red tones a little bit and bring up the yellow, maybe a little bit more here, something like this, just to kind of center those tones of the skin a little bit more. So that's the overall basic of the look and the correction. Went from this to this pretty quickly. And then we're not going to use the highlights and the orange here. That was mostly for some of the other shots in the video, but we're going to use the inside and outside notes and then the shadow and the teal. So first up, I want to bring more emphasis to my face here in the middle. So we're going to make a circular mask in the middle here and just feather it out a little bit, but not too much, something like this. And then I'm just going to play around with the tone curve again. So just going to brighten up face a little bit. I don't want to lose too much of the shadows, so I'm going to make a point here near the bottom and just bring up the exposure a little bit. And then for the outside, which will be everything else, I'm going to bring down the exposure a little bit, something like this. I think that already looks pretty good. But then for the shadows, I want to make another circular mask here. I kind of want to do the same selection as I just had, but a little bit softer. So something like this, and I'm going to invert it. So we're only selecting the inside of the bag itself. And here, I don't think I'm gonna tweak much in here. We could tweak the contrast just a little bit inside the bag. Something like this. And then what I really want to do is bring in some teal. So I'm going to bring up the vector scope again, and just this teal node. They're just connected with the alpha input and output, and I can see now that they were not connected properly. So connecting them again just gives us the same selection as in the first one. And then we can just bring down a little bit more teal and coolness inside the bag here. But I don't want it to be too much. It just needs to be a little bit, so it's still selling the effect that it could actually look like this. Maybe just adding a little bit of blue and a little bit of green, and I'm kind of looking in the background here of where it's going, and I'm pretty happy with the look overall here. So let's just see if it resembles somewhat what we had before. It is slightly different, but probably wouldn't be able to tell too much. If we grab a still here and move into our side-by-side comparison, we split the view and then select our still image. Should be able to just pull it up here, and on the left side is what we have in the grade that we just did, and this is what I had originally. So I did make it a little bit brighter. If we wanted to try and compensate for that, we probably could just bring down the inside node a little bit here, something like this. And overall, this was the look that I used the whole video, and then with some tweaks, and this is pretty close in just a couple of minutes. So that was pretty much the grade, and that also wraps up this video behind the shot, how I shot or graded this. I'm still not sure entirely of these titles, but I hope you enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed playing around with the Sony A6400 as well, and just getting some other shots and playing around, being creative and creating a little story around the shot that I had in mind. So leave a comment down below if you have any questions or if you want to give some feedback on this video. And other than that, I'll just catch you in the next one. Take care.